Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of our deep dive into Sui blockchain. In part 1, we look at the why Sui exists and the what makes it different. Today we are going deeper into developer experience, ecosystems, tooling, real use cases and how Sui compares of Ethereum, Solana and Aptos. So if you are planning to build high performance app, whether gaming, DeFi or the social, this is the video you don't want to skip. So let's start with the basic how to set up your Sui development environment properly. You need four things like Sui, install Sui CLI, install Mu compiler, Sui wallet, and testnet or devnet faucet. So installation process like a brew install. If you are in Mac, then brew install Sui, Sui client active addresses, and Sui client faucet for the testing and the devnet or testnet. Why these tools are matter? CLI used for deploy call, test smart contracts. Mu compiler is for the builds your smart contract modules. Wallets for the signing and testnet tokens. Faucet for the like free gas for developments. Once these are all ready, you are good to start building. So you can all the step you can see by here the docs of the Sui, how to install Sui in the Microsoft and the Mac OS. They have all the setup with the Sui up or homebrew or chocolatey, whatever you want to, and the configuration like with the version you can check, and Sui client how that also you can do. You can install that Sui client and the client YAML file, what they do, the all things, the Sui addresses, how the address is going to be, how that new addresses is came with the steps. So all the docs you know that, and here's the cheat sheet also. So you can see here and how the testing, app signings, and logging, all that how that work. That all guides is here. So you can understand how you can set up your Sui before you want to work in the Sui. So you have to set up these four things to building any projects. So if you are set up with that all the things, then the project structure. So every Sui project follows the same clean structures. Every project structure is a clean modular layout, contract modules in sources, compiled artifacts in build. So project root is like that move.toml file. Here's the project metadata and all the dependencies there. Like in Next.js, you have a package.json like that. Yeah, here's the move.toml, the metadata and all the dependencies there. In the sources folders, the sources file means .move file is there. Your move module is here, and in the build folder, the all the compiled output is there in the build folder. So the logic behind is the move.toml is defines the package version and imports, and the sources folder contains the business logic like modules, structs, and functions, and build is the automatically generated holds compiled bytecode and layout. It's a simple but extremely scalable as your project grows. Third is the programmable transactions. How that actually works. This is the one of the biggest reason developers choose Sui. Before we going to move further, we understand the what is the programmable transactions. Programmable transaction lets you bundle multiple actions across multiple objects inside a single atomic executions. So think of it like instead of sending one transaction to mint on NFT, another to update metadata, and another to transfer. Sui lets you compress this all into the one atomic multi-step transactions. Example like read player inventory objects, mint new weapon objects, update player state objects, transfer minted weapons, log events. That all inside of one transaction with the no reentrancy risk. So like multi-action transaction, atomic execution in the one time, no reentrancy. So there is a start, then read object, then the mint and update happen, after the transfer happen, and the log and the end. So that kind of programmable transactions working. So gaming on Sui is real story, not marketing. So gaming in Sui. Let's talk about the gaming, the area where the Sui genuinely superior. Why Sui dominates the game part? Like game items are the owned objects, and owned objects don't require global consensus. So this meant the instant parallel executions, and what is allowed like a live item minting. With the Sui that you can allow with the live item minting, real-time inventory updates, weapons, skins, XP updates happening in parallel, tens of thousands of players updating state stimulously. Ethereum and Solana simplify cannot do this without heavy bottlenecks. In the gaming, the Sui is better than the other chains. and other blockchains. DeFi and Sui. So how Sui works in the DeFi world. So when you look at the Sui DeFi apps like Cetus, DeepBook, bucket auctions, you will see the patterns, shared state, liquidity pools, needs like shared state. That is a liquidity pool and that needs the consensus. But Sui uses the Navel and Bullshark to optimize the transactions and ordering and throughput. So it's fast. It's the result like ultra fast swaps, high transaction parallelism, no bottlenecks for the operations involving on objects, signify cheaper computation cost. This leads to DeFi environment that feels like a Solana but on the safer language. So that is all DeFi in Sui. Then the next is the NFT and the social apps. Why Sui fits naturally in the NFT and social apps? Like on Sui, an NFT is literally an object. So every NFT inherits the ownership rules, transfer safety, storage layout, access controls. This makes it ideal for like dynamic NFT, soundbound objects, on-chain profiles, gamified social networks, apps like a Clunchy show how natural Shui feels for the NFT-driven ecosystems. So there is a social graphs apps, dynamic metadata. With this all things, NFT and social app. For the NFT and social app, Sui is better. Move safety guarantee. It's like a move language. What type of safety provided by the move language? This is why the move is loved for the serious developers. Like move prevents from re-entrancy attacks. It's impossible to design. Asset duplication, like impossible. Asset duplication in other chains that happen, but in here that is not happen because every object have that own ID and all things. Prevents from loss of ownership because of app system enforce resource safety. Prevent from unintended mutations. Only owner can mutate. So that is move is safer than the other wing. Why this is matter? Your code is safer before auditing, not after. This automatically reduce 70 to 80% common smart contract vulnerabilities. So the move safety is like guarantees. That move safety guarantees like that way. Then we discuss about the Sui versus Ethereum versus Solana versus Aptos. Their key differences. What are the key differences they have? I have prepared that key differences. What are the key differences between them? The first is like the execution model. Execution model. Sui is the object based and parallel model. Ethereum is sequential, EVM based. Solana is parallel, C level, and Aptos is parallel block STM. Language is the Sui uses Move language, Ethereum Solidity, Solana in Rust, and Aptos also use Move. Finality, the block finality is like 0.8 to 1 second. Ethereum in 0.8 to 1 second for the block finality, and Ethereum do by in 13 seconds, Solana by 0.4 seconds, Aptos by less than 1 seconds. Throughput is the high and parallel, and Ethereum is low. Solana is also very high, and the Aptos is also high. State models, object ownerships. State model in that all the objects have their ownerships, and Ethereum is based on account, and Solana also an accounts, and Aptos is account plus resources. Best use cases of the Sui is the gaming, social, and assets. Ethereum is DeFi and infra. Solana is high-speed apps, and Aptos is for the finance and the move apps. Safety is the like strong for with the move, and here's the moderate safety. Solana is also high safety, and Aptos is a strong safety with the move. Fees is low here. Ethereum have a high fees. Solana also have a low fee, and the Aptos also low fee. Key strength is a parallelism with the UX, and Ethereum have a ecosystem plus maturity, and Solana have a speed, and the Aptos have a move safety. Weaknesses, the new ecosystem. Sui is a new ecosystem. Ethereum is a slow but costly. Solana is occasional outage. Aptos is a smaller ecosystem. So this is the key differences from the each of the blockchains. And the other part is like I prepared the table in between of them, the difference of the technical difference table. So the metric here is the global ordering. Global ordering by Su is needed only for the share objects. Ethereum is for the required, Solana also required, and Aptos also required. The global ordering. Reentrancy is impossible here. Ethereum is possible. Solana also impossible, and Aptos also impossible. Consensus uses like Narwhal and Bullshark. Ethereum uses POS and Ghost. Solana uses Tower BFT. Aptos uses Jolteon and Tusk. Programming complexity is like Sui program complexity is medium. Ethereum is easy. Solana is also the hard one. Aptos is also the medium one. Upgradability via Sui via objects. Ethereum via like proxies. Solana in program authority. Aptos is a modular upgrade. So let me highlight the truth of that all the blockchain. Like Ethereum is secure, decentralized, but slow, serialized processing. Solana is very fast, but monolithic architectures and the heavy validator requirements. Aptos also move based but still account centric, limited parallelism. And Sui is the object based, true parallelism, move safety, and ideal for the high performance workloads. So these are the all the comparison between the different blockchains. Then the next is Sui network security. Sui uses the layer security approach. That component is like BFT validators, DDoS resistant mempool. It's a narwhal mempool. Object based isolation is a reduced attack surface, and also the one of this is deterministic execution. That is a less unpredictability. This isn't just secure network; it's a extremely stable under load also. So the new roadmap of 2025 and 2026 roadmap of Sui. Here's the what are coming. Mysticity V2, that a faster execution engine. Sui bridge, that's official cross-chain bridge are introduced. Walrus distributed storage, that is a distributed object storage. Then SDK expansion is the Unity, Unreal, TS and JS SDK they are introduced. So new gaming partnerships also there. Sui is setting itself up to become a foundational chain for the games and the performance focused apps. Then the future of Move language. Like expected the Move ecosystem to become a more developer friendly with the better IDE integrations, more SDKs, web frameworks, cross-chain moves like L2 execution options, tooling similar to Hardart and Foundry eventually, then the cross-chain that Move compatibility and on-chain, off-chain hybrid executions. Move is evolving into a serious, safe, scalable contract language. So here's the whole summary of our part one and part two. Like Sui is not another blockchain. It's a fundamentally rethinking executions, like a true parallelism, object-based architectures, move language safety, high performance workload, fast finality, ideal for the gaming, DeFi, and social applications. So if you are a developer in 2025, 2026, this is the one ecosystem that you cannot ignore. So Sui changes how that blockchain works. So here our Sui blockchain topic is over. If you want some code about with the move language, then you comment below and I will make the second video about that. And here's our complete part one and part two. I hope you all understand this topic. So goodbye everyone.